Hey Laura, what is your name? What do you do? And what is your problem?
Well, my name is Laura Johnston, and I partner with dental professionals, their teams, the doctors to get rid of drama and dysfunction and utilizing leadership and team culture, communication, and bring them to a cohesive place.
Okay, what's the problem?
I think the problem is just getting in front of my ideal client. I'm new in this area. Newly relocated to Charleston, and I just want to get in front of more people in my area. I don't know if I should be knocking on doors. I think, a pretty good marketing system on the back end, and you will know better than me. But I think that it's in pretty good shape. But just being able to make those appointments, getting in front of more people, I think is my biggest problem.
Now, all of your business face to face or is it online?
It's online as well. I do in-person events. My first event I'm having at the end of January. So getting in front of those people and, getting filling the room is an important part of what's going on right now in my life.
Okay, but that's going to be your first event, correct?
Correct.
All right. So when you do any of your coaching and your communication with your clients, is this done? And I'm going to repeat the question. I apologize, but it'll make sense. Is it online or is it traveling to their office and meeting them face to face?
So this will be traveling, and we're hosting it at a venue where they have to travel. We are
Yeah,
not
but that's your
doing
event, isn't it?
correct.
Yeah, I'm talking about your day-to-day
Oh,
business. The
day-to-day
clients
business,
that take you on, is it virtual or is it in person?
mostly virtual.
All right. So you said about you've just moved into the area of Charleston. Let's break that ceiling for a start. You don't care if you got a client in Charleston or if they're in Los Angeles, do you? It doesn't matter where they're based.
True, except that I kind of want to move more into the in-person and event kind of space here. I want to actually do events for practice managers and teams. So I feel like I know COVID tells you to do all kinds of things differently, but I like the idea of building a community in my new location with doctors, practice managers. There's a ton of them here. There's not a shortage. Um, so I guess that's why, rather than doing the daily calls and things like that, I kind of like the idea of growing a little bit bigger, serving more people at a time. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you kind of know the answer because we're talking virtually, but you travel to my speakeasies.
I know.
So having
I am a big fan. Not that I want to, plug you at all.
but my point is having an event, if you've got an event that will solve someone's problem, they will travel to you.
True.
But then having a client call virtual afterwards, that's two separate things.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to build a community, you can build that online and you can still do the live events in exactly the same way that you've got used to within the speakeasy community.
For
So
sure.
when we're marketing and you're looking at doing community and live, it's kind of two different messages.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the moment, where's your event going to be?
In Charleston, South Carolina, January
Okay.
29th.
Okay. So then the idea is, are you looking to market that to get people into it?
Correct.
You are.
And
Okay.
I have begun. Like, I do have the landing page, and we're hitting it pretty good with the social media, and we even did a mailer. So we're doing a lot of those typical things that my industry does as well. Like, those are the direct messaging, um, getting out there to the associations. I think I'm doing everything right. I think I'm just impatient.
All right. Okay. So let's break a few things down.
Okay.
Okay. Um, what if someone was to come to your event? What problem would be solved?
So, of course, it depends, right? Because it depends on what issues that they're facing, whether it be within their teams, their processes. Um, we look a lot at the communication, understanding each other from the dysfunction portion of the team, but also leadership, looking at their vision. Are they communicating that well to those who, are making it happen for them? So, there's the leadership side of it, there's the team building side of it. We also work with a couple of people where we deal with their numbers, right? Like figuring out where their profit leaks are, and helping them to identify where they could be focusing more of their time and energy and getting more profit. So I guess I would depend upon the individual practice.
But all of those things that you've just mentioned would be solved at your event.
Correct.
Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to find the industry and practitioners or practices that have those problems.
Right.
Okay, and talk to them. You see, there's two things that will happen. People will run away from pain, but they won't always run away to a solution, okay, or to an aspiration, okay. So there's solution based marketing and there's aspirational marketing, and we've all seen it. Drive this sports car, and you, sir, could live this life, or you, madam, could live this world. That's the aspirational marketing. You see, people will move better if it removes them away from a problem. Do this and you won't have this pain anymore. Okay,
sure.
that kind of thing. So we've got to find people that have the pain that you are now the solution to. Having them travel to Charleston, yeah, it's a little bit more difficult now because of COVID, but hey, show that you can prove a solution and can get rid of someone's problem, and they will jump over that hurdle to make it happen. Okay, that's totally different from marketing inside. My concern you had was that you are doing everything that your marketplace typically does. What you want to do is maybe look at what people typically do and then promote and market in a form that they typically don't. You see, for you to provide the answer to someone's problem, 9 times out of 10 means that they have to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you do something different?
Well, I hope that the only one thing that I've done thus far that's a little bit different is I've tried to make it more about the experience. They can go to trainings all day long anywhere. And so I have tried to make it a more fulfilling experience. It's super cool. It's great food. It's something that they can bring their partner to at the end of the evening. It's a really cool venue. So it is much more of an experience than your typical CE training.
Have you declared that?
Yes, I hope, sort of. Probably not loudly enough.
How have you done it?
I have done it just by saying that, and that it's just that those words I actually used. That it
Okay.
is a different kind of
When did
experience.
you bring this to the potential attendees' attention? Was it near the bottom of your marketing, or was it at the beginning?
Actually, sadly, I think you're right. It is kind of low on the
All
level.
right. So why don't we start reframing? Because you've got
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
So why don't we start reframing the conversation?
Okay.
Why don't you start calling it out? And calling it out at the beginning, saying, hey, how many times have you been to a boring convention? How many times have you sat in that chair checking your watch that it'll be over soon? This is not one of those events. We designed an event to create an experience that you would want to have time and time again.
I love that, Steve. Cheers.
Well, it's been recorded, so it's yours.
Love it.
Too many people are almost embarrassed about putting the whys at the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is, if you establish right at the beginning, we've all been to so many seminars that do this, this, and this. We've all been to conventions that do this, this, and this. I'm not saying we're not going to be doing those elements because we know they work, but we are going to be focusing on your psychology, your experiential tendencies. We are going to be giving you something that you are going to experience. Is this the kind of event you want to attend? You're calling it out at the beginning and then going into the regular things. How boring would you say the attendees were that attend? I know it's a harsh question, but you'll understand why I'm asking. How are they used to attending these kind of events and are therefore turning up in the usual mindset?
I would say ready to get out the door. I would say they, especially if they're a full event, like how many of these do I have to go to actually get my CE before I can leave? I think that's typical.
Right. Okay. So then why don't you why don't you create a pattern interrupt?
Okay.
Right at the beginning. How many times do you go to these events and while they're great, they're boring? Now I'm not saying you use that terminology,
Right.
but if you understand what the attendee is going through that has that problem, that wants it solved, but also, and you've done enough of these, what are the expectations that they have? And those expectations may be, hey, I want to have my problem solved, but the expectation may be also, I'm going to get lackluster food. I'm going to get dull speakers. I need to go because, hey, what's the old saying? If I get one thing out of this, it'll be worth it. Think about the expectations of the attendee
Okay.
and then challenge them.
Mhm.
You're there thinking, hey, I'm going to get this. You're right. Or, hey, not this time. So just call out the kind of things. The two things you've got to do is you've got to understand what the attendee is expecting, the good and the bad. What are they expecting is going to happen? Okay. And then disrupt that.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, who's got the problem that I am the solution to? And then confront. Have you had this problem for the last 18 months? Have you had this problem for the last 3 years? Why? Do you like having that problem? Come to my event and see it go away.
I love it.
I did an event a while ago, which I challenged people, and I went out on stage and I said to them, hey, run out the back door. There are 3 women out there. Each one of them's got a suitcase and there's $500,000 in the suitcase. Go. In a filled out auditorium. I did this down in San Diego. How many people? Now, from the stage, you can see the doors. How many people do you think went running out that door?
Maybe just Travis.
I saw a couple of the doors slightly swing open, but it was only because people were leaning against them and they were like, I wonder. And just you saw the kind of click of the door, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And I said to people, how crazy is it that I've given you the opportunity to get $500,000 and everyone's sitting down at the front line. They may be looking at the back, but they're not running because they're thinking, hey, I'm not going to make it out there. I'm right at the front. I'm not going to be able to make it up there and get out the door and get that suitcase of $500,000. But here's another thing. If I had run onto that stage, picked up that mic and uttered one word, fire. How many people do you think would have run out that auditorium?
All of them. They would have trampled each other getting out.
You see, we move faster on pain than we do on potential.
Yeah.
It's just a fact, Hey, you could do this. If you could do, if you acted on this, this could be you. That's aspirational. But if I say, hey, you got a problem, do this. If you've got pain in that problem, you will do it to get away from pain. So work on the pain aspects of your event. What pain will be removed from your day once you've been to my event? What problems do you currently have to do today that you don't like doing that will be eradicated by spending a couple of days or a couple of hours, however long your event is? Imagine you will never have that problem again. You will never have to you'll never have to be part of that annoying trauma again by being at my event. People will do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked you, and I think you need to refine it. That's
Okay.
why I asked you, what problems do you remove? What problems are your attendees going to have? What expectations, good and bad, do they already have about your event?
Mm-hmm.
That you can challenge at the beginning.
I love it.
Have you done that? Have you literally sat down with you and Travis with a pen and paper and itemized all of the pain that could be removed by them attending your event?
I don't think we've exhausted that enough. I do think you're right. We need to get clarity on that. I mean, I think we've identified a few problems and not gone deep enough maybe on some of those things and really identified the true, we've identified, I would say, the problems, not necessarily the pains.
Yeah, so yeah, people want pain removed. Now, by the time this comes out, your event is what, the end of January?
Hmm.
So this event may be just coming out. This video may be coming out just. So I don't know if we're going to grab it in time, but give a shout out to your event. Where is it? What date is it? And where can they find out more details?
Okay, so you can go to s3growth.com. It's in Charleston at the wonderful Harbor Club at West Edge on January 29th. And it is for dental practitioners and their office managers. And I'm very, very excited to have just an amazing, really cool event that is a totally different level. It's a great experience.
All right. So doing this at the end of December, this is when we're doing this interview now. You've now given yourself basically 30 days to redefine the problems that you solve.
Yes.
Okay. How many attendees at this moment in time do you have percentage wise? Are you 50% sold out? 60%?
No, I only have like 5 attendees and I want 40.
You want 40. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're pretty low though at the moment. You're
Yeah.
just over 10%. Okay. So what you've got to do is look at the marketplaces that have your problem and then offer the solution.
Okay.
Okay. You've got to be very direct. What I would suggest you do with that wonderful coffee mug you got is
Yeah.
pour yourself another coffee, look at all of your marketing and ask yourself quite openly, is it showing the problem that I solve?
Okay.
It is one of the best marketing strategies, and not strategies, but copies in the planet was tense, nervous headache, take aspirin. It was just, here's the problem, here's the solution. Are you fat? Take this tablet. Are you ugly? Do this. How many people do you see in marketing that establish a problem and then provide the solution?
Yeah.
People want the solution to people's problems and pain. And I'm wondering, because I know you two, you're wonderful people. I'm wondering if there's a dilution in the voice within your marketing of what it is your event can actually solve.
Yeah, I think I've focused more on what they can get from being there, like what maybe on the clarity rather than on the problem. I do believe.
So many people do. Come to my event, have a great time, rather than come to my event and never have that problem again.
Yeah, for sure.
People, today we're in a period of a lot of noise. Today we're in a period of a lot of, as Joe Polish says, mass distortion and mass distraction. Okay. Today we are searching for clarity. Do this, this will happen. Be here, this will be removed. Come here and this will be there. You've been to my speakeasies and I give you no information what's
coming. Get no information whatsoever.
None at all. But I do care about your problem.
Yeah.
Now, if someone can remove a problem you have, just like you turning up on this video call now, if we can remove a problem, that will be a solution to you. That will make you leave this going, I've gained something from this. And hopefully it'll be re-energizing and refocusing on your messaging. Now, you've said you've got the landing page. Check that out.
I will.
Have a look at that landing page and go, is it directly amplifying a problem that we are showing that we are the solution to? Or is it too much woolly? Come and spend this and do this and enjoy this and this would be lovely. That's fluff.
Yeah.
For somebody to get out of their house today, especially in a COVID world that we're in, they've got to know that something they are going to is going to be worth that time, that hassle, their PCR tests, their vaccinations, all of those kind of things. Because
Right.
even if we're going to an area, like, and I don't know what Charleston's like for vaccinations, but even if we're going to Florida, where there's no worry about kind of any vaccination mandates, you still got to come out of your house. You've still got to get into an Uber with that face mask. You've still got to go to an airport. You're still going to have trauma to
Mhm.
get to where you want to go.
Mhm.
Okay. So no matter where the end is, even the journey's going to be more stressful than it ever used to be.
Yeah, for sure.
You've got to show them a good solid reason why they should be there, why they should go through that pain and heartache to get there, to be able to find the solution. You need to provide the solution. You need to make sure that all of your copy and your messaging is showing that clearly and concisely and short.
Mhm.
Today, brevity is king, unlike my ramble here. I'm wondering if you go back and you have a relook at it, if you can actually shorten it, sharpen it, and expose the problem that you solve.
Absolutely. I will do that immediately following this call.
Do you think possibly there's too much fluff within your advertising?
Absolutely. I definitely know that it starts with what they will get, and I don't know if it really ever defines that problem. I'm trying to think now. I mean, I feel like what they will get is the problem solution is embedded in that. But you're right. It needs to kind of hit them in the face. This is the problem that will be solved. So I definitely will be doing some tweaking.
Maybe you should look at it, especially within the market, because again, think about your audience. Your audience is very much of an analytical mindset, aren't they? They were in the medical profession, aren't they?
Mhm. Right.
So they've got very much of an analytical mentality. Okay,
Mhm.
they're not an expressive. They're not a vision. They're
Right.
like, hey, we do this. This has to be done. This has to be looked after. Very kind of like, this is the situation. Okay, rather than telling them what they get, this is what you will have removed,
Mhm.
and actually hit them with that, and understand that the people turning up are analytical.
Mhm.
They quantify things. They look at problems and they look for solutions. Speak to them in that mindset.
Okay.
Okay. I'm wondering if maybe you're talking to them in the wrong language.
I think so. I think you're probably right on that.
And it wouldn't take too long to actually switch it, would it?
No, no, y- no, I don't think it would. And some of the in all of those places, and all of those different places we're marketing to, making that little tweak will actually, I think, be pretty impactful and not much work.
You usually find that it takes less work
Yeah.
to be able to just put it out there. I'm solving this problem. After one day with me, you won't have this anymore.
Right.
And you could do on there. How are you doing your advertising at the moment?
So we of course just have the social media campaigns where we're posting. We're doing a little bit of ads, although we have not had a ton of success there. We just started hitting other events within the industry, and DMing people that are like-minded, just to, they're at these virtual digital events, but they're also in our time zone. um, so so we're doing that. We just did a mailer to a personal invitation to, hoping that, I guess, for the time of the year, that this is kind of not that weird to get a personalized. I don't know if it makes it better or worse, but I hope that they'll read it.
Well,
And I,
there's a lot of we're getting a lot of stuff coming in our mail at the moment.
Mhm,
I've got my local electric board sending me a Merry Christmas. So,
mhm,
well, happy holidays because they don't want to
yeah.
offend me. But it's at this moment in time, with you sending out mailers and post in a time frame when people are getting more mail and post
Yeah,
with a
I
confused message, may not be the best time.
yeah, well, it's a little late for that. It's already printed. I Where were you, a few weeks ago?
I'm wondering about if we forget about the advertising for a
Okay,
second and
okay,
focus on the conversations.
okay.
Okay. A good you want 40 people. You've already got 4 of those. So you've got 10% of your market. All
Mhm,
right. But maybe you should look at groups that share that problem. let's pick on Facebook, let's pick on LinkedIn. Maybe you should just start looking for groups
Okay.
and going into those groups and joining those look, this is something I've done many, many times. Joined a group of people that you were trying to get into. Okay. So dental practitioners, is that correct?
Correct.
Look up dental practitioners of Charleston, where they haven't got to worry about travel. And then look at people in the area,
Hmm.
in the surrounding areas. And maybe there's even a Charleston dental Facebook group.
Hmm.
Okay. Join that group and then go in there and start conversations. Hey,
Okay.
what is the biggest problem
Okay.
you in the dental world are experiencing today?
Yeah.
What is the three issues you find about your marketing, your community, gaining new clients, whatever it is that you solve?
Hmm.
Ask them if they have this problem.
Okay.
And then as they start answering, and as you break into a group and they start, well, actually, my problem's this. Do you know, I found that's why I put an event together to answer that problem. I'll DM you details. Maybe I'll see you in Charleston at the end of January.
Okay.
It's only 40 conversations that you have to have. And if everyone that signs up, you can reach out to, and I don't know what your ticket price is, but let's be serious. You ain't got a lot of time left. Okay. But everyone that signs up for an event, go, hey, thank you very much for signing up. I appreciate that. We spoke about this problem. What other problems do you have?
Hmm.
Now, you know this from the speakeasy.
Yeah.
What other problems do you have? And then when you're having that conversation, hey, I wanted to ask you, do you have any other people that have this problem? Because if you do, I would not only like to offer them a 10 or 15% code there's a reduction on that ticket,
Hmm.
but for everyone that signs up, I'd like to offer you a little something.
Oh, yeah.
And that little something could be a 30-minute call with you to focus just on that problem.
Love it.
All right. You're
Love it.
giving up your time by exposing your ability to them as a thank you for them getting you more people. For every one person that actually signs up, they may bring 5 friends along. Now they become your front line of marketing. And then when you do the phone call with them, they're very excited about seeing you, but now they're also telling their mates about you as well.
I probably should have known all this from coming to your speakeasies, but it really is different when we're conversating about my business. Like, it's interesting to kind of, I think some of these key points that I've heard you say before, I know I have,
Yeah.
kind of turning around to specifically focus on me. I guess I'm really good at looking at how it really applies to someone else rather than how it applies to me.
Look, solution-based marketing is the same for everyone. Okay. As I say, there are only two. You buy a fancy. If we weren't worried about solution-based aspirational marketing, everyone would be driving a Ford or a Kia. Okay. But you drive a Ferrari and a Porsche because you aspire to be something.
Mhm.
Okay. You drive a Kia because you want to get there and you know it's hellishly reliable. So those are solution-based marketing versus aspirational. When you know the differences, the conversations don't charge. What are you the solution to, and who's got that problem?
Mhm.
And when you're only looking at 40 people, engage the conversations. First of all, find the group, define the problem, communicate the problem to expand, to establish that it's there, and then provide the solution by showing them the event you got going on.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
for everyone that signs up on that ticket, offer them the ability to have a 30-minute conversation directly with you, directly on that problem before they get there, for every 3 to 5 people that they bring in.
Okay. I love it. It's
All
fantastic.
right.
Yes.
I hope this helps.
It
I
does.
thank you for attending the speakeasies and being a member of Sims Distillery. But
My
as I
pleasure.
say, re-look at everything you've got to find out if you're maybe confusing more than providing clarity.
For sure. The most amazing, most genius man I know said, "Be easy to understand and impossible to misunderstand."
There you go. Laura, thank you very much for being part of the family, and good luck with everything.
Thank you for having me, Steve. Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Steve Sims, and I hope you liked that episode of Being Coached by Steve Sims. Subscribe over here, watch some other cool videos over here, or for your chance to be coached by me for the YouTube series, join here at simsdistillery.com.